Well, Chris, based on the introduction of our boning knife, you're going to do some demonstrations here. But I think the key thing to note on this knife is the flexibility of it.
You see how flexible that knife is? That is really, really important when you're doing various different things with meat because it allows you to work around various bones, etc. That is a very important feature.
Well, and the blade is 5 inches long, and it also has kind of a unique shape, which allows you to get around bones of all sorts of meats.
Exactly. This is very much the traditional shape of a butcher knife, and as you're going to see in a little bit, that is exactly what we need to cut around those bones like you said.
Well, let's start with removing the silver skin from the pork tenderloin.
Sure. So this is a pork tenderloin, as you mentioned, and you're going to notice that there is this sort of shiny membrane right here, and that's what we call silver skin, and that membrane is almost inedible. It's very, very tough, and so we want to remove that. And the way we do this is very simply we're going to use the boning knife, and what's nice, you have that nice tip on there, so we're going to poke through underneath the silver skin, draw the knife back, and at this point, we're going to lift up the silver skin and pull on the silver skin at the same time as we slice with the knife, and off comes the piece of silver skin.
And it's really easy.
It really is, and again, because silver skin is so tough, it's very, very easy to cut that away. And once you cut away that silver skin, at that point the tenderloin is truly tender.
Okay, next we're going to demonstrate how to remove the bones and the skin from fish. And in this example, we're using red snapper.
That's right. We have a fillet of red snapper, and we're going to begin by cutting away the bones. This is the inside, the bones, and a little bit of the belly. So once again, just very simply cut like this with the knife. And because that knife is flexible, it allows you to get right in underneath that little bit of belly and cut it off just like that. Look at how simple that is. And oh, look at this. We have a little piece of little fin over there. So we're going to go ahead and take that fin and also just cut the fin right off. There we go. Because you're not going to eat that. So the next thing we want to do is we want to take off this lovely skin off the outside. And again, you have to have a flexible knife, otherwise it doesn't work. You're basically going to take the knife, you're going to cut towards the cutting board, and then notice I'm going to take the knife and just sort of turn it as I'm cutting into the fish so that the knife now is flat against the cutting board and I'm pressing on the cutting board. Again, flexible blade's important. I'm going to use my fingers and hold on to the back here and very simply saw underneath that fillet. Saw, saw, saw. And off comes the skin. And now I have this very nice fillet left over.
Looks fabulous.
That's right. Now I have to show you one more thing. You ready for this? Sometimes you have something called pin bones left over in here. And just to cut the pin bones out, it's these little line of bones. You can just cut right along the bones. And there you go. Basically, you find the pin bones by taking your finger and feeling across the top of the fillet. And wherever you feel those bones sticking up, it's just a little line. You can cut them out very easily. And that's it.
Great explanation. Well, Chris, now you're going to teach and train on how to debone a chicken.
That's right. And it's so easy to do. So the first thing we want to do is we want to cut right between the leg and thigh and the breast. And you see there's sort of this fleshy piece of skin there. Very simply, make one cut, one on the other side. And then what we need to do is separate the leg and thigh from the rest of the chicken. There's a really easy way to do this. Very simply, if you put your finger on the back of the chicken, you'll feel the joint where the thigh connects to the backbone. And very simply, you're going to take and pull the leg back, and out pops the leg bone. You can see it right there. And then on the other side, same thing. We'll pop out the leg bone. And once that's happened, it's really easy then to separate the leg and thigh from the rest of the chicken. Just slice right between the carcass and that joint that's sticking out. Same on the other side. We'll just cut, separate the leg and thigh from the rest of the chicken. Now, a lot of times, people want to cook the thigh and the drumstick separately, and that's a great thing. But how do you separate the two? Well, nature has provided a little dotted line, if you will, and there's a little line of fat right there. And if you just cut right on that line of fat, very easily, it separates the leg and the thigh. So once again, look for that little line of fat right there, and then simply cut right on it, separates the leg and thigh that fast.
Amazing.
So now onto the breast and the wings. And so to remove the breast, very simply, you feel right across the top of the chicken, and you'll feel the breastbone sticking up right there. And so I'm just going to take the knife and I'm going to cut right alongside the breastbone until I hit a bone. Exactly, and that's actually the rib cage. And so very simply, I want to take the knife and I'm pressing against the rib cage as I'm cutting the chicken breast, and that way I'm sure not to leave any of the meat on the chicken when it's all done. So I'm running into one other bone, and you'll actually, there's two little bones right at the end of the chicken here, and that's the
wishbone.
The wishbone, exactly. And so once you hit that wishbone, that's really a guide, because I'm going to cut right along that wishbone, and that will lead right into the joint where the wing connects to the rest of the chicken. You can see it right there. It's that simple. So let's do the other chicken breast. So again, cut alongside the breastbone, and then very simply, notice I'm also picking up the breast. I'm lifting it off of the rest of the chicken as I cut, and again, that nice flexible knife allows me just to very easily maneuver around the carcass. I'm going to run into that wishbone. Let's clean it up right there so you can see the wishbone right there. And very simply, if I just cut right down that wishbone, I cut right through that joint once again. So now I have this left over. This is perfect for stock or making chicken soup. And then the last thing I might want to do is to separate the wing from the breast. And you can see that nice little joint sticking out there. All you have to do is cut right underneath it. And now I have the wing and I have the breast. So let's do it on the other one real quick. See that joint right there? Again, I'm going to cut right underneath it. Now I have the breast and I have the wing. The wing, I could do a couple things with it. I could certainly cut off the end, or maybe cut it for buffalo wings, or very simply I could just take this, fold back the wing just like that, and it's perfect for frying, deep frying, whatever. Exactly.
Well, you know what, Chris? I think these are three excellent ways to see the versatility of the knife.
You know, I couldn't agree more. This is a very versatile knife.